Hello, you. Sitting there behind that screen, fantasizing about escape. A new beginning. Tokyo, maybe. You've Googled flights, watched reels, bookmarked vlogs titled Must See Japan. You tell yourself it's curiosity, but I see it. It's longing. You want to be here, among lantern-lit alleys, neon dreams, the heartbeat of a city that never really sleeps. You crave the kind of silence that only a Shinto shrine at sunrise offers. Or maybe it's the chaos of Shibuya that seduces you. You're not alone. I was you. But now, I'm here. And trust me, it's everything you hope for. So go ahead. Watch. Dream. Obsess. I'll take you there. Tokyo, Japan. So here I am, April 9th, leaving Chicago, going to Japan for 2 weeks with my two closest friends, my brothers. There's me, Quentin in the middle, Ben on the left. Now Ben's in the middle. That was Ben's wedding in 2022. So we're getting up early, leaving for the airport at about 3. Got an early flight over to Toronto, had a layover there and coming back. There's over the snow somewhere in Canada. And it was a nice flight to Toronto, short, about an hour. There's the Toronto skyline. It was pretty cool seeing that for the first time, not gonna lie. This was my first time in Canada, technically, and there's Quentin and I on the flight. It was a small plane, so it was just him and I next to each other. And Ben was by himself, and this is, where the journey really started, right? This was a trip that we began booking back in July of last year. We had booked these flight tickets in July and saved a good amount of money doing that. We got these round trip tickets with the layover in Toronto. It was about $1,100 per person. So, to go 6,500 miles twice for $1,100, really great deal. And we flew Air Canada on this flight and really don't have anything bad to say, right? I thought it was a really great experience both ways and a really smooth flight. And so it was really, really cool to have this journey kind of kick off. So we have our 3-hour layover in Toronto, and then it's time to get on our 787-9 Dreamliner, Air Canada, and do the 13.5-hour flight over to Japan. Here's us walking on the ramp to our plane, and this was an Air Canada flight again, obviously, and this was the longest flight that I have ever done, 13.5 hours. Longest prior to this was like 4 hours, so this was a big jump. Here's my setup for the flight. Didn't have a ton of legroom on this first flight, and wish that we could have had a little bit more, but it's so interesting on your first long haul flight, right? Because I'm sure you guys already saw, but I'm a big fan of You, the show, and the season finale, final season just came out, and watched the whole season. And so I'm rewatching it on the plane, watch a couple episodes, and then I see they have Batman versus Superman. And shout out to the Air Canada Entertainment, because I thought they had a ton of great options from movies to shows and music and so on. But I watched 2 episodes of You, and then I watch Batman versus Superman, and there's still 9-ish hours left to go. And so that was tough mentally, right? If you've never done a long haul flight before, it is mentally tough the first time. You got to stay with it. And it was tough. But, when a new place, a new destination is on the other side, you fight through it, you get through it, and you look forward to where you're going. And one of my core memories on this trip was on this first flight to Tokyo. Ben here, you can see he's got his sleep mask on, and he's in between laughing and being very pissed off because he was trying to watch Oppenheimer, and there was a lot of announcements in the first hour of the flight. And whenever there's a passenger announcement, it pops up on the screen, pauses your movie, and when it's a long-haul international flight like this and it's leaving from Toronto, there's going to be the announcement in English, French, Japanese, obviously, because we're going to Japan, and then I think they were also doing it in Chinese and Korean. So he, after about the fifth message, he had crashed out, and the movie was off, and the sleep mask was on, and that was it for him. So pretty funny memory there. And then yeah, here's the one of the restrooms on the plane. Pretty interesting that there was a window in there. That was something that I had never experienced on a plane before. It was pretty cool. I suggest if you're going on a long haul flight for the first time, and anyone here that has been on a long haul flight before, it's important to get up every once in a while, walk up and down the aisles, and stretch out a little bit, get the blood flowing through the legs again, and you'll make it through all right. So, 13 and a half hours later, we touched down in a cloudy and drizzly Tokyo Narita. And here we are. Obviously, you get through the initial area of the airport, you see the Mario characters, the famous Mario sign, my girl Rosalina obviously holding the Welcome to Japan sign. That made my heart so happy to see that. And when you get to a new place that you've been researching and looking at videos at and so on, seeing the things that you've wanted to see with your own eyes after all this time is an experience like no other. And we landed at around, I want to say 3:30, 4 p.m. local time in Japan. So this would have then been a Thursday, April 10th. And so decent amount of people at the airport. And I saw a big line in the immigration and customs line. But when you land in Japan, you quickly realize how organized, how efficient, and how kind everyone is. The line, which looked like it was going to take hours, ended up only taking maybe 15 minutes, and there were hundreds and hundreds of people. So that was a really, really nice welcome into the country, and was really efficient. Got through quickly, was able to get our bags, and then the game of figuring out how to get to our place begun at Narita. And I had done some research about the trains and how we were going to take the Narita Express to our place. But once you're there in the airport, after, at this point, nearly 24 hours of travel, it's a journey. It's a journey, right? And a fun journey it was. So we're at Narita Airport. We've got our bags, got everything to go. We needed to take the Narita Express about probably 45 minutes to an hour to where we could then transfer to the Toei Shinjuku line, and that would get us to where we were staying, which was Ojima in Koto City in Tokyo. And so there I am at Narita Airport. This was when I was waiting in line for Ben and Quentin to get their welcome suikas because they had androids. Something important that if you're going to Japan soon, you should know this. On Apple's iPhones, you can just add the Suica card, it's a green card, right onto your iPhone, and you can top that up, charge it up, and you can use that for the trains, and then you just tap your phone at the different stations before you get on the trains. It was super, super easy. You can add money right through the Apple Wallet on there. Really easy to manage, but since they had Androids, they were unable to do that, and so they had to get the physical welcome Suica cards, which are good for, I believe, 28 days. Essentially the same card, it's just kind of like a touristy version of it. So that was me waiting for them to get their cards, and then we jumped on the Narita Express. There's Quentin and I chilling on the train. We're really, really tired at this point, really exhausted, but that feeling that you're in Japan, you've made it, was a feeling that I'll never forget. And for me, the stressful part of traveling is always just the navigating to the airports, getting through immigration, the customs, and all of that. Didn't really have too much stress going into Japan, at least going there, right? So, pretty solid journey. The train ride was about an hour and a half total. Was slightly stressful with our bags, right? Just trying to stay out of the way with the suitcases and everything. But on the Narita Express, there's a lot of other people that have suitcases, kind of, known that one's going to the airport, so there's going to be suitcases and stuff and spots for your bags. Then we transferred to the Shinjuku line, like I said, and we went over to Ojima, which was where we were staying for our 2 weeks. We arrived to our Airbnb in Ojima, and it was fantastic. It was everything we needed. It was about $1,700 for the 2 weeks total for the three of us, so we're roughly $600 a person after taxes, fees, and everything. Had a little kitchen area, had a fridge, there was a freezer section in it, a little kitchen table, and bathroom. We got used to the small size of Japan quickly. Those rumors are definitely true. A lot of their places are on the smaller side, but that's some of the fun of it, right? And fantastic place, right? 3 beds, bathroom, kitchen. We didn't need anything more, right? When you go on a trip like this across the world, you're not going to spend a ton of time in your room. So my tip, my suggestion is don't go all out spending your money on a super nice place if you don't need to. Get what you need, make sure it's nice and not trashy, but get what you need and go out and explore. We got off the train and got to our place. It was around 7:30 p.m. local time in Japan. And so we decided to go ahead, get some cash, go to the ATM in 7-Eleven, grab our dinner, and just have a chill night, kind of acclimate to everything, and get to bed early, as it had been a long day of travel. Another one of my tips that I have for you guys if you are going to Japan, or you're planning on it, is don't use the currency exchange at the airport. We found personally, at the time we went in April of 2025, that we got better exchange rates taking money out of the ATM in 7-Eleven, Family Mart, Lawson, rather than using one of the currency exchange places. Now, depending on your bank or your card or whatever, perhaps that might differ, so obviously do your research. But for us, and for me personally, using the ATM at the 7-Eleven was just fine. Pulled out a couple $100 US to have in cash, as cash does get used a lot there in Japan. And the fee was only like $4 or $5, so really not too bad at all. And so we went to the 7-Eleven and got our money, got some snacks, got some meals, and boy, can I tell you guys, the hype is real. It lives up to the hype. The food, the snacks, the drinks, they are so fantastic. And it really was the perfect first night. Like, it wasn't the real first night, right? It was still kind of the travel day in my eyes, but it was the best way that we could have ended that entire travel sequence in my mind. Food was fantastic. I had a miso ramen, and if you're just checking out this video, you're new to kind of the travel scene or whatever, and you're not sure what 7-Eleven hype I'm talking about, you might think I'm crazy, thinking that, my miso ramen from a convenience store was fantastic. But It was. It was incredible. And it was a great first meal in Japan. All right. Day one in Japan, the real first day. I got a good night's sleep. And when we planned this trip, we started planning probably 9 months prior to going. We knew that we were going to be going during sakura season, cherry blossoms. There was going to be a lot of tourists. It was going to be busy. My friends and I are not the types of people to have a loaded itinerary where it's like, okay, on day one, we're getting up at 9 a.m. At 9:45, we're on the train, like that type of stuff. It's really, we woke up and decided what we wanted to do. We had some ideas, we had some things planned, right? Prior to leaving for Japan, I had booked Shibuya Sky for us, I had booked Team Lab Planets. My friend Quentin had a Mount Fuji driving kind of expedition that he was going to go off and do later in the trip. And Ben really wanted to focus on hitting Akihabara as he's really big into the figures. So we had some ideas of what we were going to do, but it wasn't really pre-planned, right? So we wake up, we decide we're trying to figure out what to do. I was really given the power to kind of plan and decide for the boys, right, what we were going to do, because they didn't really care too much. They were down for whatever, and I was too. So day one, we decided, I decided let's go over to the Shibuya area. So we took the train, getting some more experience on the subways and stuff. Really, really easy. We had the Ojima train station, a couple-minute walk from our place. Get over to the train, and we jumped on, and we got off near Shibuya. I don't remember what exact stop it was, but we ended up walking around for a bit, saw a bunch of shops, kind of acclimating to the Japanese culture, right? Seeing different things, and then we stumbled across the Meiji Jingu Shrine. Meiji Jingu. Forgive me if some of my pronunciations are not the best. But we stumbled upon this, right? And I think that's one of my tips for you guys, for anyone, new travelers, people that have been doing this for a while. Have a day or two at minimum in your trip where you don't have anything planned and you just walk in an area, you pick a direction, you walk, and you find things, you stumble upon things, because that's really when you're going to find things that you may not have found if you were trying to plan everything out, right? So be spontaneous, have a day where you're maybe getting out of your comfort zone and you're going into the unknown. And we did that, and we stumbled upon this shrine, and it was so beautiful. This was the first shrine that we experienced. It's right in the middle of the city in Harajuku, and kind of near Shibuya, and it's massive, and there's this big forest with this walkway that you walk through first, and the shrine is really, really massive. It's so beautiful. There's trees in the middle, which you guys can see right here, and just an awesome experience. And not super touristy. There's a good amount of people there, but there's a lot of Japanese people there that are praying and paying their respects and everything. It was really, really a beautiful first shrine experience for us in Japan, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. We ended up then walking. I wanted to get over to the main Shibuya area. That was obviously, that was a hot spot for us on the trip. That's one that I really wanted to visit. So we walked down towards that area from the Meiji Jingu Shrine, and we ended up stumbling upon Takashita Street, which I didn't even know when we first got there, but we stumbled upon that, and really, really great experience. Really cool bunch of shops, both sides of the street. There's street food, there's different restaurants, snacks and stuff. I ended up finally trying the candied fruit that I had wanted to try for so long, and it was absolutely fantastic. And I think it only cost me like 600 yen, so pretty affordable, right? And then Ben ran off to kind of check some shops for some figures in the area. I ended up going with Quentin, and we stumbled upon this elderly Japanese woman's store. She was a designer for 44 years, and we had a conversation with her for probably 5 to 10 minutes, and it was really, really cool. That was our first, genuine, real kind of conversation, connection with a Japanese person in Japan, and just telling us about her store and showing us the things that she had designed, and where, was asking us where we were from and why we were there and stuff. So that was a really, really cool experience. It's something that I'm not going to forget at all, and it was really, really great. So we were in the Takashita Street area for don't know, maybe 45 minutes to an hour checking out the different shops. We went into a gacha shop. That was our first time in one of those. That was really cool, seeing all the different options they had there, and those places were popping all over Japan throughout our entire trip. Those were really, really full of people, and there was a lot of cool little things to get there. Then we continued walking over. We stopped at a Uniqlo. I had been to Uniqlo before a couple times in the US. Some great clothes, some affordable clothes. Ended up copying 2 shirts for myself, and it was really great. It was really easy. It seemed like they were in US sizes, at least the one we were at, and so that was really cool. And then we made it over to Shibuya Crossing. We checked it out, and then we walked towards the kind of just like the downtown Shibuya area with all the shops, the big lights, and the really famous area. And we had our first real meal in Japan, and it was a ramen shop right near Shibuya Crossing, and it was fantastic. It was so good. And a little fun fact about me, I've been a picky eater my entire life, so this was my first time having ramen, and I had it in Japan, and it was so good. It was so good. I don't think I'll ever forget that meal, and it was really, really great. And then by this point, the rain had started, and it was raining and storming, and there's thunder and there's lightning, and we are just walking around Shibuya in this beautiful city, this clean city, all of these lights and advertisements and billboards and signs, and it's raining and it's thundering and there's lightning. It was such an amazing experience. I can't even convey how cool that was for me to experience, because I'm a big rain guy, I'm a big night guy. I love the lights, I love the city, I love the moon, I love thunder, I love storms. It was like the first day in Japan, and I'm getting everything that I really like, and it was just such a magical experience. And that wouldn't have happened potentially if we had a plan of what we were going to do, right? Everything we had done that day led us up to where we were when the rain and the storms had started, and so that led to an absolutely incredible experience. And so then we're walking around, we go into one of the Gigos, get inside the gaming oasis places, and this is one of those places that has all of the claw games, the games where you can win figures, the arcade games, the Mario Kart, Sims, all that stuff, the music, rhythm games. And I mean, this is like, my friends and I are gamers. This is like a really good spot for us. So we spent like an hour or two in there checking out stuff, trying to win some stuff. Here's a video of Ben trying to win a plushie, and then we decided, probably 6 or 7 o'clock at this point, I decided, let's take the train over to Shinjuku. We've heard Shinjuku's the night hot spot in Tokyo, right? So we go over there, we see Godzilla Road, we go to this mall that was like 7 stories, had a bunch of shops and stuff in it. That was really cool. Godzilla Road was awesome. I spent a lot of time there on this trip, especially towards the end, the final night in the trip. You guys will see later in this series. But yeah, it's so cool. Just such an awesome experience. I'm a big Godzilla fan, so that was really, really cool. Then we went to the Taito Game Station, which was across the street from Godzilla Road. That's another gaming place. Multiple stories of claw machines and games, and places to win figures and stuff. Spent a couple hours in there playing some games, and here's a video of Quint and I playing the drumming game. I am a drummer. I'm a musician. I have been since I was 6, so this was a really fun game for me. And then we took the train back home probably 10:30, 11ish, as we know the last trains are pretty much right around midnight. We stopped at the Family Mart this time, which was right near our place as well. Got some food, got some snacks, and that became a tradition we were doing every single night on the trip. We would go to 7-Eleven, Family Mart, Lawson, whatever, and we would get some new snacks, some new drinks, new meals to try before bed. And so that was the first day, and that was a 10 out of 10 day. Such an incredible way to kick off the trip. And we didn't have any plans. We didn't plan around it, and it turned out to be an amazing day. So I'm so forever grateful for that, and I will never forget it. Alright guys, that is it for this video, my first video on my new travel channel. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it and it helps me grow this channel. For the next Japan video, you're going to be coming with me and my friends on our journey to Kamakura, Odaiba, Team Lab planets, as well as Shibuya sky at night under a full moon. More tips along the way in the video, and if you have any questions for me or about my Japan trip, leave them down below in the comment section. Once I finish all these videos for the Japan series, I'm going to have a Q&A video where I answer some of your guys' questions so that I can hopefully help you plan your dream trip to Japan and make sure that it comes out as best as you hope it can. So I appreciate all of your support, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.